Mr. Riddle?
Present.
Ms. Callahan Wozniak here. Mr. McBride?
Present.
Ms. Gonzalez?
Present.
Ms. Hannah?
Yes.
Ms. Leguizamo?
Present.
President Ewing?
Here. All right, like a motion to go into open session.
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Mr. Riddle, second by Ms. Gonzalez. All in favor signify with aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. We are now in open session. Pledge of Allegiance. I don't know. I see Dr. Hillary, if you'd be so kind as to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So I want to welcome everyone out. I know it is a very cold evening, so I appreciate your dedication. Thank you to all of those who are online, as well as staff that are here in person. I do not have a very long board president's report this evening. It's been a very, very busy time for District 60, returning to school after the break. We are still in a pandemic. We always keep talking about post-pandemic, but it seems like it continues to drag. So I just appreciate the endurance of everybody. I want to thank our staff, particularly our frontline staff, those individuals that are in the classrooms, that are driving our buses, that are delivering our food, because I know that it's a challenge. We are all exhausted. We are all tired, yet you all remain committed and steadfast and show up to school every day and give 110% and continue to deal with the ever-changing and evolving pandemic, along with supporting our students and all their unique needs post-pandemic. So I don't want to spend a lot of time this evening. I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you. We appreciate you, and we will continue to stand with you. I know that I talked about it a lot very early on, is there's so many stressors going on in our nation, and we see the infighting that is happening, parents versus teachers, teachers versus administrators, and everybody in between. And so I always say is that as a community, we cannot pull apart, but we must come together. And I will continue to fight along with this Board of Education to make sure that we are coming together to support our students. This concludes our president's report. Next up, we have our special recognition and presentations. And so we have the distinguished gentlemen of Phi Alpha who are here, and if you guys would be so kind as to come up to the podium.
All right, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Dr. Perry Benson, Jr. I am here with Dr. Dennis Garrett, MD, and Mr. Darrell Bush, attorney at law. We are all members of Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. We are a historically African-American fraternity founded in 1906 on the campus of Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. Since then, our fraternity has continued to thrive and press forth. We have hundreds and hundreds of chapters all over the world, and we have hundreds of thousands of members. In addition to some of the service and the work that we do, we have several national programs. One of them is called Project Alpha. Before I get into Project Alpha, which is on the screen, I also want to note that we have a local chapter here that we're all connected to. It's called Kappa Chi Lambda Chapter. It has been here in the community since 1975. As you'll see on the screen, this particular entity called Project Alpha was a network with March of Dimes, okay? And it began way back in 1980. It's a collaborative project designed to provide education, motivation, and skill building on issues of responsibility, relationships, teen pregnancy, sexually transmitted diseases for young men ages 12 to 15, but there's some leeway to that. So we try to target, again, preteen young people, in particular young males. This is designed to provide young men with current and accurate information about teen pregnancy prevention. Project Alpha consists of a series of workshops and informational sessions that are conducted by men of Phi Alpha. The main goals of this particular program is to share knowledge by combating ignorance and fear with factual information, also to change attitudes by providing motivation, towards positive changes in sexual behavior. And then finally, to provide skills by creating a sense of empowerment and self-esteem. We are asking that we are able to use the space in Waukegan High School on February the 26th, that morning, most likely a 8 to 2 p.m. block. And we look to have a program with anywhere from 20 to 30 young men. And again, there will be members of Phi Alpha there to facilitate this program. Thank you.
Mr. President.
Go ahead, Ms. Hannah.
Miss Doctor, how are you going to select the young men to be involved?
Thank you. Great question. So we'll put the information out there. We'll put the invitation out there. And we already have a list of young men. I told you all we do several programs. And so we've been kind of working with some young men already, some from Zion Bend High School. We've connected recently even with a middle school in Lake County. So we already have a group of young men. Also, we have sons and nephews of many Alpha men in the chapter. And again, we did, the last program that we did ended up being virtual, of course, because of COVID. And so we're looking to do something in person this time. But that is how we're looking to recruit the young men.
Okay, here in Waukegan.
Well, in the Lake County area, yes.
Okay.
What we're looking to do is to work with the deans and the social workers to identify young men who would benefit from the program.
Another resource would be that Dr. Charmaine Hillary sitting back there. She's our student outreach, and she would be a great resource.
I just want to mention, my wife is a nurse here, y'all all know her, in Drina. So we're going to draft
Mrs.
her
Dowd.
in assistance with this matter. And we've already been in touch with, some of the counselors already that's going to, send students. But any student that you want to participate in our program, we're not going to turn anybody away.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can you please leave your contact number, who we should contact, and I will have our area superintendent over the high school reach out to you to set something formalized.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Will do.
Do you all have cards? Because I would like them personally from all of you.
I had a question from Mr. McBride.
I was just going to kind of follow up with Ms. Hannah. Her thought process was the same as mine as far as outreach. I was going to say Dr. Hillary back there, who's handling our outreach with juvenile and those kind of things for kids that you're trying to reach that have some of those issues that you're talking about with teen pregnancy. And I mentioned you mentioned how to deal with other areas of sexual issues, so to speak. Be able to talk to them about the do's and the don'ts. So that I was going to also suggest to Dr. Hillary as well. But more so than that, I would like for you guys to, rather than be a in and out pilot program, you got the men that I've seen that you had could be very useful in this district as mentors, not just for how long you say you're going to stay?
1 day.
You said how long?
Yeah,
what was the
I
question?
think, what is it? You said a week?
One day.
No, this is a one-day event.
Well, see, to me, that's good, but I would like to see it ongoing because it's a need to have African American men talking about African American issues in this district. And where else would you be able to find them other than just a group like you guys? And this is something that this district, this board, been asking for forever, to deal with not just those issues that you're talking about, with attitude issues, period, that we have in our district dealing with African American boys as well as girls.
Social skills.
Absolutely. And what I'll say to you all is this, and again, I'm a sociology professor with College of Lake County. There's a whole lot of work oftentimes that'll go on behind the scenes that many people just won't know about. It's not that the work isn't going on. And so again, as we're here, that's another effort to make ourselves more visible to some of you who are already doing the work so we can create and build some more partnerships. In addition, as my brothers were sharing, we have other programs, and we're actually in the process of building. We already kind of had a virtual mentoring program, but we're building some things. So we're doing plenty of work behind the scenes. But thank you for the invitation. And again, we all going to leave our information. And so if anybody wants to work with us, we want to try to see how we can build those partnerships.
Thanks. We've been talking, we have a Pan-Atlantic Council here in the area. All the fraternities, all the sororities will be involved. He's in touch, like Marvin Burris from our frat. And these gentlemen are very, very active. Frank Walker, retired principal from Zion, way back when, bought a house from him, A.D. Williams. We can go on and on. So we want to broaden it out to speak to your point with all the fraternities and sororities. So I'm going to be working with them, Dr. Hillary, anybody else, because we all believe in and the need is so great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so, Ms. Leguizamo?
Yeah, no, and so Ms. McBride kind of hit it in the end there, but I really did just also want to support as well and extend that invitation to become a permanent partner with us in Waukegan Public Schools so that we can have more frequent mentorship programs in our school district. And this is a nice target area that I see that you guys are targeting. So I appreciate that and definitely extend the invitation and for you guys to speak more with our superintendent about becoming a more permanent partner with us in our school district.
And I want to say two things very briefly, or a couple things. First is that this is a volunteer organization. These gentlemen have careers, and so if we are asking them to volunteer, I want to make sure that we support them and that they can continue to do it, as well as we're raising resources so that they can continue to provide these supports and these resources for these young men. I also want to just acknowledge that as someone who had their first child at 16 and their second at 18, is that a program like this is very, very timely. It is needed, and so we appreciate the day that you guys are giving back. And there is a process, if you haven't already, before requesting a facility rental waiver request. And so Deputy Moulton, who's in the back, is our Chief Operations Officer. And so once we get that, the board can formally vote, and then we will be able to vote yes or no in order to allow you to use that space. But I do want to thank you for coming to the Board of Education, and thank you for the work that you are doing. As the oldest male fraternity who actually gave me a scholarship years ago. Gave me my first speaking opportunity during the Martin Luther King breakfast. And so I thank you for the work that you have been doing and continue to do in our community. So we look forward to that waiver request, and the board will be able to take action at our next board meeting as long as we get all the information.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much, and we look forward to partnering and working with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up is one of the most exciting things that I get to do as the board president. I want to give kudos to board member Hannah, who brought this idea first to the Board of Education, and I want to thank the board for supporting it. It's crazy to believe that we will now have our 5th student board member. So Mr. Usani has been doing a amazing job, and so we appreciate him, but today is his last day in that official capacity, and we will have a new student board member, Miss Joanna, if you want to stand up and wave. And so we have our official kind of process that we've perfected at this time. So is Mr. Usani the one who's going to deliver the oath, or? Oh, Ms. Vandenbroek is. No, I think, yeah, that's how I don't know, we've done it a couple ways, but if you would. Yes.
Would you like to give her the oath?
Sure. Okay.
Let's do it. Mic them up.
Mind your way, you got it?
No.
Okay.
And you'll have I'll just switch seats with you a minute.
I can even get out and you can use that mic.
All right. Okay. So you can raise your right arm, Joanna. All right. So repeat after me. I, Joanna Gutierrez, having been appointed to the position of student board member, Board of Education, Community Unit School District number 60.
Board of Education, Community Unit School District 60.
In the city of Waukegan, Illinois.
In the city of Waukegan, Illinois.
In the county of Lake.
In the county of Lake.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully perform my duties as a student board member.
That I will faithfully perform my duties as a student board member.
And will conduct myself in a professional manner.
And will conduct myself in a professional manner.
I further swear.
I further swear.
That I will uphold my duties as a student board member.
That I will uphold my duties as a student board member.
By attending Board of Education meetings.
By attending Board of Education meetings.
And faithfully representing my fellow students.
And faithfully representing my fellow students.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
I shall encourage and respect.
I shall encourage and respect.
The free expression of opinion.
The free expression of opinion.
Of my fellow board members.
Of my fellow board members.
And others who seek a hearing before the board.
And others who seek a hearing before the board.
While respecting the privacy of students and employees.
While respecting the privacy of students and employees.
I shall recognize.
I shall recognize.
That I am a non-voting board member of the board.
That I am a non-voting member of the board.
However, I am encouraged to lend my opinion to board discussions.
However, I am encouraged to lend my opinion to board discussions.
And I shall remain respectful to community members.
And I shall remain respectful to community members.
My fellow students.
My fellow students.
My teachers.
My teachers.
And all district employees.
And all district employees.
And I will not attempt to use my position.
And I will not attempt to use my position.
To exercise influence.
To exercise influence.
In matters unrelated to my duties as a student board member.
In matters unrelated to my duties as a student board member.
All right.
By the power vested in Mr.
Okay, by the power vested in me, I grant you 2022 student board member. Congrats.
And so if there is, I want to do two things. Mr. Sani, if you have any kind of words or anything that you would like to speak to the public as well as the board, and then we're going to have Ms. Gutierrez come up to the podium, and then you can do just the introduction, and then we'll proceed with our meeting. So.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll just say some words. This student board member term that I have had, virtual, kind of in person at Brookside campus, and then, kind of experiencing the actual version of being here at Lincoln Center. It was definitely a wild ride, for sure. But I'm glad I got to do this, and I'm glad that I got the experience, not only from a leadership standpoint, but a political standpoint too. Definitely not knowing what happens at these board meetings was meaning that now I know what happens at these board meetings, because I attend them, and then obviously hearing the public, hearing the board members, hearing how this actually works. Not only for teachers, students, but just even the community members as well. So I definitely say thank you for the opportunity. And then obviously for Joanna, I obviously do know you personally, but I will be there, for this semester before I graduate. I will help you all the way. You can ask board members. They won't bite. They're really nice. You can ask them questions as well. Ask them about ideas that you have. Ask them about things that you might want to talk about at your board meeting, and maybe even get their support on it, because that will definitely help you. And I think even in the questions that were asked of you, how would you reach out to students? So find different ways, be creative. You got this. There's no reason not to be nervous. You can be nervous. It's okay. But you'll push through. I believe in you. And again, I'll be there for you if you need help, any questions you have. But other than that, thank you. Yeah.
All right.
We gave him a surprise task.
All right.
You guys want me to take a picture of her signing the document here? Thank you. It's like signing
Yes, we've had a very long line of student board members, and they all have brought something amazing to the job, and they have been reflective and diverse to represent all facets of our student body. But if there's anything that Ms. Gutierrez would like to say at this time or introduce herself to the public.
I just wanted to say I'm very excited to working with you all and, giving out my new unique ideas for changes in my school and the other Waukegan schools. Yeah, I'm very excited. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have now arrived at our opportunity for public comment. So at this time, they're bringing up the sign-in sheet. There are no names on the public comment sheet, so we are going to move to the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of items that have been previously discussed and or should be non-controversial. Any board member can request that any item be held over for any reason and voted on separately. Are there any requests to hold any items over at this time?
Yes.
Which one would you like voted on separately?
B, please.
Okay, so then do we have anything else? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve items A, C, D, E, F, and G.
Mr. Riddle, I so move. We approve items A, C, D, E, F, and G.
I second.
Motion by Mr. Riddle, second by Ms. Gonzalez. All in favor signify, no, let's do a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Riddle?
Yes.
Ms. Callahan Wozniak?
Yes.
Mr. McBride?
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Ms. Hannah?
Yes.
Ms. Leguizamo?
Yes.
President Ewing?
Yes. Items are approved. I'm going to read those for the record. Item 10A, approval of change order 1, Halo Smart Sensors detectors at Waukegan High School, Washington campus. B, approval of furniture, not B. C, approval of Cardonics Education Advanced Inc. Master Scheduling Software. D, attendance of DL administration at LRP National Legal Institute in Louisville, Kentucky from 4/24/22 through 4/27/22. E, sound system for Robert Abbott Middle School. F, approval of reclassification of business and financial services position. G, approval of district-wide face mask purchases. And now I would like a motion to approve item 10B.
Mr. Riddle, so move.
Motion by Mr. Riddle.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hannah. Any comments, questions on the motion?
No.
You said no? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Riddle?
Yes.
Ms. Callahan Wozniak?
Yes.
Mr. McBride?
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Ms. Hannah?
Yes.
Ms. Leguizamo?
Respectfully, no.
President Ewing?
Yes. Motion carries, item approved. All right, we are now down at purchases and contracts. So we have renewal of Aruba ClearPass wireless maintenance.
It is recommended that the Board of Education authorize the superintendent or her designee to approve the renewal of Aruba ClearPass wireless maintenance, annual total cost of $78,455.56.
Mr. Riddle, I so move. We approve the motion as read.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Riddle, second I heard Ms. Hannah. If we can have any comments or questions on the motion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Riddle?
Yes.
Ms. Callahan Wozniak?
Yes.
Mr. McBride?
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Ms. Hannah?
Yes.
Ms. Leguizamo?
Yes.
President Ewing?
Yes, motion approved, item carries.
Board
And I
Pres-
apologize, I'm looking at the agenda and there's a question. Can we scroll back up on what's posted, please? Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. So this is the most up to date. Yes, we approved, and just for the record, we approved in the first action A, C, D, E, F, and G, and then B was approved separately with one no vote in Ms. Leguizamo. And then we just approved 11A, renewal of Aruba ClearPass wireless maintenance, and we are now at personnel items. And for the sake of time, I'm going to ask if we can take items A and B together, if no one is opposed.
Yes.
Do we have a motion to approve items A and B?
I motion.
Motion by Ms. Gonzalez, second by Ms. Leguizamo. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Riddle?
Yes.
Ms. Callahan Wozniak?
Yes.
Mr. McBride?
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Ms. Hannah?
Yes.
Ms. Leguizamo?
Yes.
President Ewing?
Yes. Item approved, motion carries. We are now at 15A, ratification of the second processing of board bills for January 2022. Oh, we have a couple of administrators that the superintendent would like to recognize at this time.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Ms. Jasmine Albaran, who served as a long-term substitute, who will now serve as a culture and climate specialist at the Brookside campus with a starting salary of $55,000. Welcome home, Ms. Albaran. She's also an alumni from Waukegan, so congratulations. And I do believe we have a few people here, but due to the pandemic, we will not be coming up and shaking hands. So if you are present, if you could just stand up, and we'll give you a warm welcome. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Cedric Allen, who also served as a long-term substitute with Waukegan Public Schools. He will now serve as a culture and climate specialist at the Brookside campus with a starting salary of $55,000. Welcome, Mr. Allen. Ms. Kanisha Pettis, paraprofessional. Kanisha Pettis, sorry.
You good.
Kanisha Pettis, who served as a paraprofessional safety officer at the Brookside campus, will now serve as a culture and climate specialist, Brookside campus, with a starting salary of $55,000. Congratulations.
And Harris-Stowe State BCU grad, so, not BCU, but, I forget. Go ahead. No.
I'd also like to introduce Mr. Daryl Thomas, who previously also served as a substitute teacher with Waukegan Public Schools, and he will now serve as a climate culture specialist at the Washington campus with a starting salary of $55,000. Congratulations, Mr. Thomas. I believe Mr. Thomas is in the back. Is that correct, Mr. Thomas? Okay. It's hard to see with the mask on. Congratulations.
Welcome to District 60. We appreciate you guys choosing this district, and we look forward to working with you to serve our students. All right, now we are at 15A, ratification of the second processing of board bills for January 2022, manual check request payments and First Midwest insurance payments for the period of January 6, 2021 through January 18, 2022.
It is a recommendation of the administration that the Board of Education ratify the second processing of board bills for January 2022 and manual check request payments and First Midwest insurance payments for the period of January 6, 2021 through January 18, 2022. The Accounts Payable Board, January 6, 2021 through January 18, 2022. Payments total $2,192,992.84. The manual check request payments for the period of January 6, 2021 through January 18, 2022 total $2,422,509.02. The First Midwest Insurance payments for the period of January 6, 2021 through January 18, 2022 total $1,473,573.22.
Mr. Riddle, I make a motion that we approve the action recommended.
Motion by Mr. Riddle,
Second.
second by Ms. Hannah. Any comments, questions to the motion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Riddle,
Yes.
Ms. Callahan Wozniak,
Yes.
Mr. McBride,
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Ms. Hannah,
Yes.
Ms. Leguizamo,
Yes.
President Ewing.
Yes. Item approved, motion carries. We are now at reports and presentations. Again, I would say due to time, if there are any committee reports.
I have.
Ms. Gonzalez?
I'll make it brief.
No, you're fine. Take the time.
I just want to report out some really good work that the Equity Advisory Council is doing. I met with my subcommittee regarding our graduation requirements, and a lot of the teachers, a lot of the staff that joined us had a really healthy discussion about what the new guidelines are, how to make that more coherent for our parents and families and community members and our students more than anyone else when they're reading the handbook and they need, to know what they need to graduate. So we're working on that, and the committee will present something to the board, I think, next month. And then for PTAC, I would like to see more folks. I know Mr. Christensen and the team have been working really diligently, Dr. Hillary as well, to sort of share out some of our policies. But if you're interested, you're a parent, you're a teacher, come join us. I don't know if Ms. Leguizamo wants to add to that. But we're hoping to grow that one too. And that's it.
Yeah, definitely. I'll just piggyback, just finish that off a little bit more in regards to the PTAC, which is the Parent Teacher Advisory Committee. We are starting a lot of the work on the Parent and Student Handbook. So as anyone knows, that is a good 80-page document, give or take, right? And so if anybody wants to help out with that work and take a look at it, it talks a lot about the student disciplinary actions on there. And if you have any concerns, please feel free to reach out or attend one of our meetings with the Parent-Teacher Advisory Meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Leguizamo.
Yeah,
Mr. Riddle?
Board President, I would just report that I attended that our district leadership is reviewing with input from teams that they are forming to review some of our board policies with a equity lens focus. One of the first, we had our first meeting today at one of the teams led by Ms. Ambrosia. And we met at 3 o'clock, and we basically discussed two of our board policies, one dealing with curriculum and the other dealing with accelerated learners. And so there's going to be other teams forming. We're looking at, like I say, looking at our board policies, and these will be brought once we have some recommendations, bringing these forward to the board for review. So we just started the process today. And there'll be other teams forming, so there's community members on them. Some board members will be asked to join. Other teams, and of course staff who are on these teams.
Thank you, Mr. Riddle. Any other committee reports at this time? All right, 16B. So at this time, Ms. Gutierrez, typically we would have our student board member report. Do you have one that you still want that you prepared tonight, Mr. Asani, or are you prepared, Ms. Gutierrez?
Well, I didn't have exactly a specific report. I didn't mention this, but Valentine's for Veterans, it is coming up. February 6th it is Sunday. It will be at Brookside campus. Due to COVID, we will be having a limited capacity. Right now, it's not confirmed, but we may be looking at 2 to 250, maybe. It will be in the Brookside campus gym. There will be a reservation, so be on the lookout on possibly the district page or district social media, even Ms. Leguizamo's social media or any other social media related to school. So that will probably if you would like to come and support, that will probably be where you can sign up. and reserve a spot and make Valentine cards. Bring your friends, bring family members. It's not only for students, it's for the community, it's for everybody. So I hope that everyone comes and participates in a safely manner, social distancing, wearing masks. And then I guess I'll say it now, but we will also be having kits, so you can pick them up. I personally will be there February 1st at Brookside campus, probably either at Circle Drive or kind of I think that's door 11, maybe kind of like that front door. I will be there to hand out kits. So if anybody would like to have a kit and take it home, they can do that. And if they would not like to participate in person for personal reasons, that's perfectly fine. We have kits available, and you can take them home and then bring them on February 6th during that 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. time slot, and we will be there to collect them. So if you have any questions, I'm probably going to be here until the end of the board meeting, and if you are here, you can contact me or Ms. Logozamo as well. She's kind of there for me as a sponsor, so definitely. Oh, yes.
You want to reiterate to the public the purpose of the Valentine?
Yeah. So again, it is called Valentines for Veterans. So just as the name suggests, it's making Valentine cards for veterans. So it will be sent to the VA's closet, where they will distribute the Valentine cards to veterans. Obviously, it's something that small that can make a smile on someone's face, especially a veteran. If they might be somewhere else, especially not with their family, maybe, possibly, or, well, actually, no, they're veterans, so sorry about that. But, but it's just something that goes a long way, making a Valentine card, especially handmade, it helps a lot. So, again, if you would like to show up, Brookside campus, February 6th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Hopefully, around the social media part, you can sign up for and reserve a spot. But that's my student board report. Yes.
Thank you.
Joanna.
Thank you.
So again, I want to say thank you for this opportunity. I'm very excited to put in new ideas, and one of my ideas was creating entrepreneurial walls around the school for students who have their own small businesses to promote the things they like to do. So yeah, that was one of many, and I just want to say I can't wait for this new year and these new ideas that I have. So yes, thank you.
Awesome. Next up, 16C, delegates report. Is there any?
No delegates report.
And superintendent, no report at this time. Right, we don't have any information items. I didn't have anything listed under old business. I did have a new business item. So new business was the vaccine incentive discussion. And so Ms. Hannah, you recommended this. Was there an idea, anything that you?
Oh, with the students?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. My thought was that we want all of our students to be vaccinated. It's a volunteer thing, but seeing how we're spending a lot of money for masks and the other PPE mitigations, I just think that to do something to give the incentive for our students to go and get vaccinated, this would be a good thing, and a good incentive, seeing how that we do have COVID money that we could use for this this incentive. And I am hoping, with the concurrence of the board, that we could move forward with it and at least put it out there and see what kind of student response that we get. And basically, I'm looking for input.
I think you need to clarify what the incentive is.
Well, at this point, at this point, I'm saying anywhere between $150 for a student, but of course that is that's with the board's discussion and whatever they believe is a good incentive. I'm just bringing.
Would that be cash or gift cards?
I'm also kind of just throwing it out there, and you can chime in on different ideas and suggestions as well.
Well,
I just think it's something that we need to, we need so that we can boast that we have our students vaccinated.
Well, I'd just like to speak up a little bit on what you're talking about. What you're talking about is something that's already been explored, not just in District 60. I think they've given Chicago Bulls tickets away. I've seen gift certificates. I've seen various different items that they gave to try to get not just kids, citizens in general, to go get vaccinated. So it is a good idea, and it's a good idea because whatever it takes to make us all safe, we need to do whatever effort that we can to try to get that done. So how the approach will come, how the approach that we would take to get it done, but certainly it's a great idea because once again, sometimes kids need motivation to go get, not just kids, it may even, I don't know how would you might want to implement something that in families in general, so I think it's a great idea. You did, as you said, we do have COVID money, and that COVID money is meant to keep us all safe, not just masks, not just hand sanitary, whatever it takes to get someone vaccinated. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. McBride. I'd support Ms. Hannah if you wanted to do something like that, because CLC gives their students a $100 check. If you prove that you got vaccinated, you get a $100 check. That's good for books, that's good for tuition, that's good for anything that you need, really, to get on campus and be okay. And right now, I think the state and the federal government need to be doing a little bit more, right? We need other supports, but anything that we can do in district to incentivize people to go get, to do something scary. Go get that injection, go get that shot, right? Learn about vaccines and why they work, why they have historically worked during times like these, and, help everybody out. Because it is something scary, and I think for students, especially as they're learning about it more, an incentive would be nice.
Thank you.
Which protects us all. It's not just the students. I think we all benefit from it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. Ms. Polk can give us a number. It's a big number.
I'll go next.
Yeah.
I'll go next, Board President.
Ms. Leguizamo?
So I was thinking about this a little bit because we had a little bit of a conversation with other school districts and what they have done in regards to incentivizing students to get vaccinated or staff. And what it turned out to be is they found that it actually wasn't that much of an impact because they said if you were going to get vaccinated, you would do it anyways. So the incentive were just those people that were kind of on the fence. But I think we're kind of maybe a little bit too late to the ball game, to tell you the truth, to capture that audience that is still on the fence if they should or shouldn't get a vaccine. To me, I'm pro-vaccine. I'm vaccinated. My family's vaccinated. I love that option. But unfortunately, at this moment, I actually do not support this endeavor because I don't think we're going to get the type of response that we really hope that it would be, right? And first and foremost, we don't even know what the student population is or isn't vaccinated. So we don't really know what those numbers look like yet. And if this is something that we're going to move into, I'd like to know those numbers before we do do something like this incentive.
Well, Lucy, would you-
It's just my perspective.
Let me say this to you. What if you just got 2? You ahead of the game.
Wait,
If
I'm
you
sorry.
just got 2 kids back there,
Right.
you ahead of the game.
Not for $1.5 million. If you're going to give it to everybody that proves they're vaccinated, you're going to do it just for the ones who haven't been vaccinated yet?
Yeah, that's what's the approach. Not for the ones that's been vaccinated, for the ones that we're trying to get vaccinated.
That puts other people at a disadvantage. If they already did it, they're not rewarded.
Right, right.
But then, like I said, if we want to give those students that have already did it, we don't have any kind of restriction or limit for that.
Right, right.
They would be able to get the incentive too.
Right. How would you
Yeah,
know
you
that
know.
a student has already been vaccinated and
They
for an
have a
extra
card. They
$100, they're
give-
going to go get another card and get vaccinated again?
They get
Oh, you shouldn't do that.
they give cards. They give the vaccination cards.
Yes, they do.
Every time they get a vaccination, they have it, so they already have the card.
Yeah, don't,
If they've already been vaccinated.
And what I want to do is allow each person to get their perspective, and then we can move on as a first initial discussion. So Ms.
I'm so sick.
I just
Wozniak.
have a question. Is it legal to do this? Is there any reason we couldn't do this?
And I get where that question is coming from. When we considered the allowance for clothing, there was a concern that we couldn't just give out a gift card. However, we do know that some districts have experimented with rewarding students and even staff for getting vaccinated. So that would be maybe a question to take back, is if we could legally do it if the board wanted to. I actually,
Was there anything you wanted to say?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
yeah, I'm not, did you have other questions? No, Ms. Wozniak. So we have one takeaway, which can we legally do it? And then I know where my stance is I think it's a lot of money. I think that the government has already tried. They were giving away millions of dollars in lotteries and all types of stuff if you got vaccinated. Those who wanted to get the vaccine did. Those who haven't, we need to continue to talk about the benefits. We also probably, at some point, are looking at a state mandate. Chicago has already said that in order to go to restaurants, you need a vaccine card. I would not be surprised. What I would like to do is collect more data, as I don't think that it's a bad idea, and I know the intent. The intent is to get more people vaccinated. So like Ms. Hannah, Mr. McBride, and Ms. Gonzalez have all shared, that is the goal. What I would like to know, and what we've talked about, and I'll go back to the superintendent again, is if there's a way to self-certify. We need to have some type of data as far as what percentage of our students are or are not already vaccinated. If we find out that it's 80% and we can convince 10%, great. I would be in support of some type of incentive. If we find out that we only have a 30% vaccination rate, then I don't necessarily know what incentive would do. But I'm not prepared to make that decision until I have that data. And so I don't know if I can seek board concurrence in order to get that. We already have the crisis go, and I know this has been a conversation that we talked about, is we need to know the number of vaccinated. And I get not requiring it, but those who've gotten the vaccine, I don't think that they would disagree with self-certifying, which would give us at least some type of number where we could then direct the administration to make some type of recommendation, or we can bring it back, and then maybe board members will be able to share more information. I saw Mr. McBride first, and then I had Ms. Leguizamo.
Yeah, I had conversations about what we're discussing right now. Somebody asked me the same question. What about those that's already been vaccinated? Would it be a disadvantage to them because they got already vaccinated, and they didn't get the benefit? To me, those individuals that's already vaccinated, it's a plus for them to be able to get somebody around them vaccinated, regardless of whether or not they received anything or not. It's a plus to see somebody get vaccinated. For me, those that are not, whatever it takes to get them around me or anybody else, I think it's a plus. So I wouldn't have no problem. As a matter of fact, I'll be like, well, I'm glad you come up with something for somebody that don't have the intelligence enough to go get vaccinated. That would be my opinion. I had a conversation with somebody because they asked me the same question. What about those that's been vaccinated? Would they feel slated because they didn't get it? And my response to them was, you know what? You ought to be happy that we're doing this to get somebody else vaccinated for your own safety. Anyway, that was my own
Can we hear
comment.
from the student board members, see what they,
Do they want to share? I don't want to put them on the spot. I mean, they have every right to share, but it's up to them. Ms.
So,
Leguizamo?
I also, in regards to gathering the data in regards to like who's vaccinated, who's not vaccinated, I also don't want this to start being a mandate, right? That you have to report to the school district if you're vaccinated or not vaccinated either, right? Because that's also another conflict. So I don't know how the board feels about, like, if we're going to collect this data, I mean, are we also asking for the team to mandate to self-report about vaccine or not vaccine? I mean,
Staff has already been mandated. I
Yes.
get that was overturned, but we already have required that. My recommendation was that it be voluntary. Is that you
Voluntary.
say, hey, and then if it goes to mandatory, again, we can have those further discussions. But what I am asking or recommending is that we would ask individuals to self-certify, right? Would you share your vaccination status? It can be a Google Doc, it can be,
Yeah.
we have information, we have Crisis Go. So, I mean, all
I'm
of
in
that.
support in regards to like that type of data collection, right? Because I just didn't want it to be like a mandate now, right? And now you have to show proof of, right? Because that's one thing that as we're seeing in restaurants and businesses is the mandate that you have to show your proof of type of thing. So I agree with that it's voluntary. If they want to share it, then they can share it. But, unfortunately, we're going to have a plus or minus 10%, right? So we know how that goes. I know I see other hands over there too.
Mr. Riddle?
Yeah, I support what you said, Board President. I think that with the consensus of the board, I think we need to at least begin the process of asking our students voluntarily to self-certify so that our district has some idea where we stand. Do we have 50%, 40%, 80% vaccinated or not? So I think we should begin that process first before we go anywhere else. And there are states, California already has several bills pending to mandate children in school, at least as soon as this vaccination is approved for, by the CDC for all students, different age groups, just as with any other vaccine, children would be required to have it. That's going to happen probably down the road because there's going to be variants and this thing's going to be with us for quite some time yet. So I don't see that right now that we need to move on putting some money out to pay students to get vaccinated.
And Ms. Gonzalez?
Yeah, so I just wanted to touch on what Ms. Leguizamo and what Mr. Riddle just mentioned, that for me personally, because I do have family members who would be directly affected by this, and who literally haven't been outside that long because of their pre-existing conditions. My stance has always been that, you get the vaccine, right? I want to help the people around me. I want to keep myself safe, and I want to do my part, right? And we're now going into 3 years of this where we still don't know how to go about having a strategy for mitigating this. And I didn't want to be the mean person and say, yeah, let's have the mandate, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. And if we don't want to go that route and be a leader in that sense, then let's do the incentive. Something has to happen, because what we've done all pandemic is figure out as we go and have people figure it out as they go as well. And honestly, as some people are trying to make up their minds, there are people who couldn't wait. There are people who died because we just couldn't make up our minds whether we wanted to do this or not. And that's who I think about when it comes to this. I get it that this is a very difficult topic because a lot of, black and brown communities, we don't like going to the doctor. I have a grandma who you bring that up and she just freezes up. She's like, don't talk to me. I don't want to deal with that. But I'm like, we need to have that conversation because I want you to be well. And I want to see you live more years. And that's the kind of conversation I want to be bringing up. If this is the situation, if this is how school is going to keep going, and our students have all these emotional situations going on at home, we have to do something about this.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez.
I got one more.
Ms. Hannah, final, and then if the board members want to weigh in, I don't want to put you guys on the spot. I know this is a conversation and it's very, divided. And like I talked about, bringing people together. So Ms. Hannah, you'll
Okay.
have a word, board members, student board members, if you want to speak on it, you can. And then I will close before we move on to the next thing. Go ahead, Ms. Hannah.
It would be great if we could get ahead of a mandate for the schools. If we could get ahead of the State Board of Education, the governor, saying it's mandated, all kids have to have the vaccination. Okay, that's one point. Second point, you talk about the cost of giving the incentive, the dollar amount. We get $50.56 million of money that was allocated by the government for learning loss, student learning loss. And that's all. Third thing, the number of COVID positive cases that we have in our district on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, we should be trying to do anything we can to stop it. We have a lot of COVID cases in our Waukegan School District. And we should be trying to do anything. It's affecting the kids. It's affecting the adults, the staff. I just heard one school had 15 staff members out at one time. And we are opposed to doing something proactively.
Yeah.
It's kind of beyond me, and I'm not understanding. I'm sure that parents would love to do this. I'm sure that kids, look, make it a learning moment, teaching them about vaccinations. We've been getting vaccinations for history. Everyone in here had vaccinations growing up. So, and this is just another one to combat something none of us know about. Anyway, I'm just saying.
And student board members, would you like to weigh in? And so the question on the table is, do you believe that incentives or students should be incentivized to get vaccinated?
Okay, like you mentioned, this is a very sensitive topic and a topic that I personally think that still needs to be further discussed for sure. I think that, honestly, I feel like this discussion won't even end. I feel like it's just gonna keep on going back and forth, because everybody does have different opinions, not only in Waukegan, but just in this country as a whole. I think when it comes to incentives for the vaccine, one, again, when we ask students for if they are vaccinated, kind of find that number as Ms. Logozamo was kind of asking for, or, mentioning. Again, it probably will be voluntary, meaning that you won't get the full exact number. If it is volunteer is what I'm saying. You won't get the full exact number of how many students are vaccinated. I think pushing incentives, it may help just a little bit, but at the same time, there are parents who don't believe that the vaccine is good for you, which will cause them not to have their kid take the vaccine. And sometimes that's just some things we can't control, even if there are incentives. So those are just some things to kind of think about. I personally think that the vaccine is a good thing. I think that it helps people, especially with me personally. I have a grandma, 81 years old, very, very, prone, or I don't know if prone's the right word, but she can get COVID easily. Thankfully, she has not gotten COVID, but she can, if it does get her, God forbid, something bad can happen. So, I have family members like that, who can get who have gotten the vaccine, and thankfully they have been safe, and nothing bad has happened to them. So I think that when talking about this specifically, there are just some things that need to be thought about in terms of, parents, how they may feel about it. In terms of even students, they may have their own opinion that might be different from their parents. But at the same time, parents will not allow their student to get their child to get the vaccine. So they're just those things to kind of think about when talking about this. But other than that, I don't have any other, I guess, comment or anything else to say. But yeah.
Thank you.
You don't have to. You don't have to. I know what you're feeling, President.
You don't have to say anything.
All right, Ms. Gutierrez.
Unless you want to wait till next board meeting.
So I just wanted to say, even though, not all students will be vaccinated how we would originally want, but it would push students, to also get vaccinated. So, like you guys said, even 2 students getting vaccinated, it makes a difference. So, yeah.
Thank you. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, so I don't want to belabor it. I also don't like how it was prefaced. I 100% agree with vaccinations. What I'm asking before I make up my mind is for more information. I would like to say that when we talk about incentives, and it was thrown out $150 for all the students, is as someone who sits on the budget, as someone who's pushed for us to do infrastructure, and we talk about the $50 million, we've accounted for every penny in that budget. And so when we take that $2 million, which is what it would cost, over $2 million, 2.25, what are you willing to go into that budget and cut? And so that budget was approved by this Board of Education. So unless you're willing to go and look and tell me what we're going to cut, and I'm not saying that some things shouldn't be cut, but when we look at Ms. Polk and we ask her to make these type of decisions, that is essentially what we are saying, is they do needs-based budgeting. We don't ask for what you can afford. We say, what do you need? And then we go down the line until we run out of money. And so that means that the items that are still on the list that we weren't able to fund will move further down the list. And items that we did say we needed to fund, we won't be doing in order to make this. So I want there to be a cost. And I did say everybody's had an opportunity to give their opinion. And so unless I have three.
Just one question.
Go ahead, Ms. Hannah.
I just want to know, we set aside money for our infrastructure, and we were supposed to set aside money for students. And so I heard infrastructure. What happened to the money with the students?
It's a budget, it's a public document. If you want to forward that to the Board of Education, Ms. Polk, every dollar is accounted for. So if anybody from the public or the board would like to see what money was put towards students, what money was put towards learning loss, what money was put towards construction, it's a public document. So I will ask that we get that to the board. I do have 3 that wanted to do more support of incentives. I had kind of a few wafflers. I'm asking for more information. Are we willing to work with it? Is that what the board concurrence is that we at least try and get a number so we can make an informed decision?
Well,
Yes.
Well, I would say, Brandon, you made it clear, is put a budget toward this. If it's not a budget but $500, and I'm with the student back here, if you get 2, you accomplish something. I'm not looking at 50 or 100. I'm just trying to get those that are on the fence vaccinated. I don't care if it's 2. I believe if you had a $500 budget, you might not be wanting to spend it with $300, because all students may not come and say, well, I want $100. But the whole idea is the incentive to get out as many as we can.
And it's voluntary. It's not mandated right now.
And the only reason we're having this conversation is because it's all about the dollar.
No,
that's what's holding all of us back, is the dollar.
No, I mean, money costs, but I also want to commend Mr. McBride, because I think that was actually a very good suggestion, as you set a budget amount, and if we set a dollar amount and we say anybody who got it, and we see how many we get, that may be something that we can do. And so those would be, we rush to maybe see some people who would sign up so we get them vaccinated. So I do want to, there seemed like there was concurrence at least to work with administration to get the information so we have that number. And then we can bring this up at a later time, but the hour is getting late. So I appreciate Ms. Hannah for recommending it. I do want to make it clear is that it's not dead. And what we're seeking is more information. So I hope that what the board takes away is that this was a productive conversation. You got to hear from all the board members, and at the end of the day, we still are moving forward with seeking more information, and that this item is not dead. We're not saying no. We're saying that we want more information, and that we possibly can get to 4. But I would encourage each board member to take that away versus that it was just defeated, is because I do think there are cost implications and there are other considerations outside of it's just a good thing. Are there any legal reports at this time? All right, then board member time. I'm gonna go down the line. I will go ahead, Ms. Anna.
Okay, I just want to go first, and I know I heard another board member talk about this, but tomorrow the weather is supposed to be very, very cold. And I'm talking about dangerously cold. We have walkers that walk to school. And we're putting, I don't know, I heard that the superintendent put out a message that we were not going to close school. Well, I kind of got a little confused because we had just approved a provision for weather when weather, inclement weather, and this it's going to be dangerously cold out there, below zero, and from what I understand, the below zero with the wind chill is going to be anywhere between 20 and 30 below zero tomorrow morning. And kids walk. Kids have to stand out at the bus stop waiting for buses. And that's dangerous. But not only that, before I came to the meeting this evening, I was watching the evening news, and scrolling at the bottom was all of the school districts that in Will County, Cook County, they are they've already announced that they're closing because of the weather. And so I'm just saying, I think that it would be a good idea for the Board of Education to have a conversation about that, okay? Because I was always, it's always been customary for the Board of Education to be included in those decisions like that.
Ms. Leguizamo?
Thank you, Board President. So I do want to take this time to thank our student board member for his service. So Mr. Assam, thank you so much for your service. And I know that your future is bright. I can't wait to see the changes you are going to make in this world. You have my contact information. Please reach out anytime. And so, once again, thanks again for everything. To Ms. Joanna Gutierrez, new student board member, congratulations. You gave such a great, strong interview. I believe that you're going to have a great year this year, and you're going to leave a long-lasting legacy in our Waukegan Public Schools. So congratulations again, and I'm super excited to work with you in regards to whatever your endeavors are. I'll share with you my contact information so that we can continue conversations. So congrats again. But those were my two things that I'll take my time for. Thanks, Board President.
Thank you. Ms. Wozniak?
I'd like to thank our student board members, the former and the incoming, for all their dedication to the school and getting involved and volunteering, because that's what we need our students to do, is put themselves out there and do good things, so.
Thank you. Mr. McBride.
Yeah, again, I'm not good with names, but I'm sure at some point I'll catch up with it for it's over with. But your interview, you knocked it out the park. You knocked it out the park so good, it was almost like somebody was standing behind you telling you what to say.
My camera was on.
But anyway, and the other individual, the other student, I don't know if you knew that student. Did you know the student by any chance?
Yeah, we're friends.
Well, good. So stick with that student because of the fact that he also done a great job. And I think when you guys, all three of you, when you put your heads together, just like us boards, you guys need to stick together too and talk and share with us your ideas. And at the same time, hopefully when we hear them, we respond. And good luck in the future. And keep doing what you're doing. Now, back to the citizens of Waukegan and my fellow board members. I don't know, again, you all know that every month it's always something different. And sometimes I say to myself, it's the same old thing, month after month. We always go through these different conversations about one issue and never really get anything resolved. But at the same time, I think that it's worthwhile me being here, and I'm enjoying myself, and I'm here not just for me, I'm here for all the students. And it seemed like to me it's always something different all the time sitting here. But once again, I want to just compliment our board members. I think we're doing a great job, and the bottom line to it, let's keep doing what we're doing, and if we getting, as time go on, we get better and better. I'm looking at that in terms of us getting along and having a common denomination. So let's just keep on doing what we're doing. And I think a board can't run unless we any gang or institution can't run unless they got a good chief. I don't care what institution you're in or what you're doing. So kudos to the superintendent and your staff, because I think your staff has got us where we at. When we look at other districts around us, we're not going virtual. We haven't had no problems with the unions. With the teachers ain't fighting, like Ms. Hannah was saying. When we look at other districts, there's a whole lot of confusion going on. But it seemed like to me we on target and doing what we're doing. And to your point, Ms. Hannah, it is cold out there. And I'm sorry, I got to be out there with them students tomorrow and all that code that you're talking about. But I think North Chicago is still in school, because if they wasn't, they would have told me. So I'll be out there crossing guard myself with those students. I just got to bundle up and deal with it. And to your point, I think there should be a policy somewhere in the near future when the weather is bone chilling and it gets to a certain temperature, we should be able to say, well, we're not going to open. But right now, we don't have that policy, and so I guess it's in the superintendent's hand to make that decision. If I'm not mistaken, it's already been sent out to the parents and stuff that we are going to have school tomorrow. Thank you.
Mr. Riddle.
There's not much I can add to what my fellow board members have said. I think they've told you in no uncertain terms that we're proud of this district. We're proud of the people, the families, and especially our students and our young students who give us great hope that they're going to straighten this community out and this nation out. And we need them as leaders. We're just proud of how they speak and the way they think and the ideas that they have. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who's helping us get through these difficult times, and stay warm.
All right, Mr. Gonzalez.
Oh man. I won't drag it out, but on how cold it's gonna be tomorrow, and it's gonna keep happening, right, because our weather is just what it is. And it's changing and it's getting even more severe. My thing is, and I'm a planner, right? That's not my job here. My job here is policy work, right? But if we have a plan, the only way we get better at executing the plan and implementing it is if we practice. And I don't know if we've done that enough yet. And that's not my call. That's the superintendent's call, right? We give her the authority to decide that. and that's, working within a team, that's a decision that we have to respect amongst each other because we are a team. But that's my perspective. If we have a plan, I'd like us to have the habit of using it. I want to congratulate Joanna. I agree with Mr. McBride. You and your friends, if you got a crew going on, keep sticking with those people, because those are the people who are gonna really support you through different phases of your life. I still keep in touch with a lot of high school and college friends. And I think it takes a lot of courage to be up here with us, because a lot of times we view students or people younger than us as not having as much experience or not as much to say when it comes to these discussions, but you guys do, and you deserve to have a voice when we're making decisions that directly impact you. To the community, everyone who's out here with us tonight, thank you for coming. Thank you for sticking through this whole situation that we're in and supporting the district. And yeah, other board members have already said it. We can't thank you enough for the dedication that you have to our students. It's really making their whole growing up through this a lot easier, a little more tolerable.
So I thank all of you guys for coming out tonight. I do want to state is that it will be cold tomorrow. And again, the district is open. One of the things that is considered, or I know that the superintendent and the team considers, is that for some of our students, school is the safest place. I do want to remind parents that at the end of the day, that choice is yours, right? So if you feel that your child should be at school, I encourage you to get them there. I recognize and understand my privilege in that I have a vehicle I'm going to put my kids into, and that they have adequate clothes in which they will be transported to school. That's not everybody's situation. And so if you would like to keep your child at home, I'd say it. People may not agree with me, but that is your prerogative. It will be cold, but I do want people to know that it wasn't done out of malicious intent. It wasn't done because people want to be vindictive or mean. Is that the decision was made, even though that there are different opinions. It was done from the view and the perspective that for some, school is the better place. And so as a parent, it will be cold on days when it snows, on days when your kid has the sniffles, on days when you think that your kid just needs a break. That decision is yours. So with that, I thank everybody for coming out tonight. I thank the Board of Education, and I would like to call for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
And I will see you guys at another time. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. No, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.